welcome, hello. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm just jumping on right now and just want to make sure that I'm on. If you're new to this channel or just showing up randomly because you got the pop-up, welcome to Coding After 30. On this live stream, we talk about all the different things that I've been through and answer your questions on how to get hired as a web developer when you're starting out or switching careers. So in today's topic, we're going to talk about listing your projects in your resume. So let's say you have no job, you just learning, and you may have built a project for your portfolio or not, and you need a resume to get hired, but you don't have any professional experience. So how do you structure your resume to showcase some of your experience even though you don't have a job? So that's what we're going to talk about on this amazing live stream. And I always say amazing every stream, but I don't know if it's going to be amazing. But if you stick around, the best part is at least going to be fun, and the worst part is that, well, there is no worst part. It's just going to be amazing. But like I just keep saying that every stream too. But the point is, what I want to say is that you're more than welcome to ask questions. So say hello in the comments. Let me know if you guys could hear the audio well, if the music's not too loud, all that other great jazz. And we're going to get into it. But today, we're really going to talk about, because I know in my other live stream on Tuesdays, we're building a project. I'm talking about this idea of building a cornerstone project for your portfolio. And so when you go and start applying for jobs there, you could talk about like what you've done, and you actually built some actual projects. And if you've been following me for any reason, you know that I'm really big on this idea of building your own projects and making sure that you're building that experience that you could showcase to others, that you have the skill that is required to get hired as a developer or software engineer. So don't be shy, say hello. And, you know, we're going to get to it soon. Let me just double check that all my stuff is working, because sometimes, yeah, again, let me know if my audio is working. You know, like sometimes I don't know, is my audio working? Can you guys hear me? What is going on? I have no idea what is going on sometimes. So we got Anna's here. Hey, welcome Anna. Hey Alex, great to see you. Good vibes all around. Yeah, great to see you guys and gals, you know. So we're going to talk about our projects and resumes. So it's an interesting topic, because I talked to John Smilga. We talked about this idea of like portfolio projects, and we are going to have a stream with him on Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, where we're going to talk more about portfolios and the importance of them. We also talked about this idea of making sure that you're also building a network on LinkedIn or any other sources where you could also reach out to people to be like, to look for job opportunities, because a lot of times it's not one thing, it's a combination of all the things that you do. But in this live stream, we're going to talk about, number one, how to talk about your projects in your resume when you have no experience, and number two, how, or the bare minimum I recommend that all of you guys set up in terms of having your personal website, having a LinkedIn, and having a GitHub. And I'll show you my personal website, the steps that I took to set it up. It's really, really easy. It won't even cost you a dime unless you get your own personal domain name, which you probably should. So mine is paulbraslavsky.com, which is my name. We're going to talk about that and any other questions you guys have. So, Woo, what's up? What other capstone project do you recommend besides bug tracker clones? Woo, I don't know if you saw my live stream. We were working on a dev hunt project, and I'll actually quickly show it to you. It's not done, but the basic functionality that we decided and planned for is kind of done. So let me show you what I've been building. And again, right now we're building it to make sure it works. And then afterwards, we're going to figure out all the other details. But I'm building this project called Dev Hunt, but I'm calling it community. You could find it at communityoneproject.com, and it's the project that I'm building live on our stream. And right now, I don't really care how it looks. What the most important part is the basic functionality. And so this is the project that we have. It allows you to list your portfolio projects that you build, and it's not just my projects. It could be anybody's projects who's a member of this website. You're able to click the detail view, which will take you to the detailed page for that project, where you could see like a basic image of the project for like a quick snapshot. And I could have put more descriptive stuff here. I just decided to be lazy. But if you click the live demo, it'll take you to the live demo of the website that someone built. If you click GitHub, it'll take you to the code on GitHub. So it's a place for you guys to be able to share your projects. And more importantly, you know, you could like projects, like if you like or dislike. And by the way, for me to like the project, I have to log in, so, or to leave a comment. So you're able to leave comments. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. This is literally pertaining to the show. But this is a great cornerstone project because it has authentication and it has CRUD functionality. So if I want to leave a comment, I'll have to log in. Coding after 30. I sometimes forget my password. And then, like, I could go and say your project is cool, so I could leave comments, right, if I'm logged in. So look, it shows the project is cool. I have this dashboard section if I want to add additional project. So very basic functionality right now. And I'm going to add more functionality and more features. But when you're building a project, the most important part that you have to understand is you have to make sure that you keep the scope small so you could actually get some stuff done. And actually the latest feature, and I know like this is not what the show is going to be about. It's going to be about how to talk about the project that I'm building. I'm using this as an example, and how to talk about in your resume, which is the important part of the show, and we'll get to it in a second. But by the way, also this project is kind of cool because let me show you this new feature that I did. And I didn't do it for the stream because this is something I had to do for work. And I'll talk about, you know, for work, I'll talk about this on the stream, but I had to get this done for work like super quickly. And actually it's not deployed here because I made these changes. So anyway, this project is good. We'll come back to this later. I'm going to show it to you guys open and localhost here. And I just want to show you this feature. So this doesn't have the rest of the data because it is locally and I didn't add additional data. This is not the deployed one, but this is running the new feature that I just made. I want to show it to you guys, not because I'm proud of it or anything, but because like we're going to talk about how I implemented this feature and how you would talk about on your resume. But for this specific here, look, I'm logged out and I just want to show you something. So at work, we work on an application that deals with sensitive data. And so what I needed to figure out how to do is what happens if a person walks away from their computer and they're not, they didn't log out. You don't want somebody to come in and be able to see like the open application. If they walk away from the computer, you want that application to close automatically. So once someone logs in, and again, there's a purpose for this. It's not going to be about code, but there's a purpose for what I'm showing you. When you log in, notice how every time my mouse moves, every time I do something on this application, this expired time updates. Now, if I didn't make this responsive for the iPhone yet, so, but let me go back home here. And when I stop moving the mouse, what's going to happen after a certain timeout event, it's going to fire the timeout and it's going to ask, hey, are you still there? Right? And my application is calling me a liar. Oh, boom, right there. So I didn't update this message yet, but notice how it's counting down. And if I don't say still working, if I say still working, it won't log me out because I'm still here. Then again, I'll wait some time, and I set it for like 10 seconds because I was testing it. But the window will pop up again, and let's say I'm away from my computer. Like, look, I'm away, I'm not doing anything here. What it's gonna do after the timer gets to 0, it's gonna log me out from the application. And this is a very important feature because it allows me, or allows the user, like if they left for whatever reason and they forgot to log out of their application, and boom, it logs you out. And in order to see, you know, like the data that's protected under the protected routes, you got to log in again. So again, I just wanted to show you that as a quick example for a second there, because it's a feature that I implemented in my personal project. This is not an actual, yeah, that expiration is a good feature to have for sure, especially if you're working on an application that has users' data that you don't want other people to see it. But anyway, the reason why I showed that feature, because the most important part, like I want to talk about that, like you have no experience, you don't even have a job yet, you don't even have a resume like this yet, right? Like how do you, let me share my screen here. You don't even have a resume like this yet, right? Because obviously this took me a long time to build this experience, get this resume. So how would you talk about your personal projects in your resume to showcase your experience. And so I'm going to use that Dev Hunt projects that we're building on a live stream, and I'm going to kind of show you how I would do it. And man, I love the fact that you guys smashing the like button. I appreciate you guys so much, because it shows me that the stuff that I do here at least kind of is helping you guys. At least I hope it is helping you guys. But so this is my resume that I already wrote, but then I have this other resume here that's kind of blank, right? It's blank here because I have no job, I have no experience. So today we're going to talk about what do you do here when you talk about your portfolio. Because first thing I want to tell you guys, this is the first thing I want to tell you. Because first of all, let me say hello to all the beautiful people in the comments here. We already said hi to, I'm going to go again here. Like, okay, we have audio's working fine. Thanks. I should have probably checked if the audio was going. Jason's here. Eli's here. Have you encountered some large data to visualize, and what tools did you use? Great question, Eli. I'm going to briefly mention this. For now, it's not what it's going to be about, but actually, I did work at a place where we use D3 to visualize. I'm not really good at it because we had other engineers that handled that portion of the app. But if you have a lot of data and you're looking to visualize it, you could use D3 to do it. I know Anna, who's in the chat here, she actually created an amazing project using D3, which is like phenomenal. Alex says, I stole. You didn't steal all your projects from John's course. You followed along and you build those projects together, okay? But it's good. It's good. And there's no shame in that, because I'll talk about that in a second. Hi, I can't stick around long, but this topic interests me, so I'll be watching it back later. Fantastic. Out of your codes. I'm sorry that you can't stick around, but fantastic. Fantastic. And yep, Anna's talking about how there's a lot of public APIs, talking about COVID data. Woo saying like sick project for Dev Hunt. The expression feature is good. Let me just finish going through. Game Cop, bro, I can't tell if you have any foreign accent or super strong Chicago accent. Laughing my ass off. No, I'm from Russia, but I've been here long enough, so I don't quite have a Russian accent, but I do have some hint of accent. So a lot of people like, are you from New York? Chicago is one of them. And yeah, Anna says D3 is awesome. Steep learning curve, 100%. But if you are going to be visualizing a lot of data, that's definitely a really good library for you guys to use. So coming back to this idea, so how do we talk about our personal project? So I just showed you my personal project that I'm building, you know, that's not for, you know, I'm not going to sell it, I'm not going to do it. But here's the thing, this is the most important part, guys, here's the most important part I want to tell you. What's the difference between the code that I write at work and the code that I'm writing at home? Like, what is the difference? Like, if you know in the comments, let me know. Because this is the key here. There is no difference. The same code that I write at work, I'm specifically building my Dev Hunt project using the same technologies that I'm using at work. The only difference is that at work I get paid for the work that I do, and at my home, when I complete a personal project, should be good, right? Don't do crappy job, do the best that you can. But I'm doing the same thing I'm doing at work. The only difference, I don't have any clients, so I don't get paid. But you're still coding, you're still writing the same code. It still counts as experience. So you should not be afraid, especially if you have no experience, to be able to talk about your personal project in a way that helps you to get a job. So just like I have here my empty resume that we're going to start writing here, here's my completed resume, the same way that I'm writing stuff here, right? And when you're writing a resume, the most important part for you guys is to write stuff in super detailed steps you took to do, like created private and public routes based on user roles and permissions, right? And I could actually copy and paste this in like this application here, because I did the same thing in my practice project. So like when you build something, whatever features you implemented, whatever code you wrote, like you add that in via bullet points in your portfolio. So what I'm doing, I'm a front-end developer. That's kind of like what I did in this project, and the project is called Dev Hunt, and I have that application live online, right? It you could, you know, I didn't call it Dev Hunt yet. I did buy that domain name, but I'm going to deploy this application to it once it's done. But this is going to be my Dev Hunt application. It's not done yet. There's a lot of features that are missing. There's still a lot of work to do, but let's kind of break it down and talk about what we do. So one thing here is, check this out. We have a logout button. When you go to log in, you have a login screen. And, you know, once you type in your password, it will log in. And this uses JWT token to check and allow me to make requests that allow me to access private or secure information. So that's a feature on my application, right? If you look at the actual code of my application, you know, we go to login, right? We go to the login form and we look at this login form. I implemented the code. I wrote the code. You know, I wrote the code to create the form, handle the login. I'm using, you know, GraphQL, but it could be REST API, whatever it is, to able to log in and get that JWT token that allows me to do authenticated requests, like to get data for things that you need to do to get as a logged in user. And Alex, I'll answer your question in a second. I don't want to lose my thought, but it's going to come in a second. So give me a second here, moment. So what I would do on my portfolio, I would say wrote code to authenticate user. And again, like, you probably would write this a lot more finer. I'm just under pressure writing it live on stream, so I would probably think about what to write. But wrote code to authenticate user and get back JWT token to allow authenticated users to have permission to make authorized requests, something like that, right? So this is like my personal project, and if you can't spell like me, just use a spell check. Like you see, I just have that magically checked it. So boom, that's done. So what is going on? What is it complaining? Authorized request. I like that. Boom. Now we move to item 2. So what else did I do on my personal project? Notice I'm not saying build a dev hunt application that shows portfolios. No one cares about it. What they really care about is what did you actually do? So instead of saying I wrote and made a dev hunt application to share people's projects and portfolios, that means nothing. But wrote code to authenticate the user and get back JW token to allow authenticated users to have permission to make authorized requests, that kind of makes sense, right? So let's see what else did I do in my application. And so I'm using Apollo client, and so we have mutations which allow you to make changes. We have queries that allow you to query stuff. Here's the file where I implemented Apollo client in my React application. So what I would do here in my resume, my next second, I would say implemented GraphQL, I can't type, GraphQL with Apollo client with JWT authentication. Client's the same. Implement GraphQL with Apollo client with JWT authentication to, like, what did I do with GraphQL? So we basically implemented CRUD with JWT authentication, implemented GraphQL. I'm just trying to figure out how to word it. You got to think about how to word it, but notice I'm talking about like what I did. What did I do on my personal project? And notice I'm talking about my personal project like it's my goddamn job, because like I said before, the difference between your personal project and a real job is the fact that at the job you get paid, and then on your personal projects you don't, but you're still writing the same code. So implement the GraphQL with Apollo client with JWT token authentication. And what else to do? To allow authenticated users perform full CRUD. Again, I'm just writing stuff down to give you an example, but I'll probably think more about this when I write it. So that's the second thing I did, right? So what else did I do? So by the way, if you guys enjoying what I do on this channel, smash that like button. By the way, I thank all of you guys who jump on and chat with me every Saturday, because I love you guys and you're the reason why I'm here. If I didn't have you guys, if you guys didn't exist to be such an awesome community, this show would not exist. So like, I'm gonna get to this example and then I'll answer all these questions, and I'll actually answer Alex's question: what do you use for the backend? And is it Node.js? And that's a great question because it's a combination of the two. So let's look at my backend. So this is my backend and it's using Strappy. And by the way, Strappy gives you a lot of functionality out of the box, but at the same time, when you have some functionality that's not out of the box, you do write your own node code, right? This is, they give you endpoints. So I wrote node code to make sure that whenever we add a project, likes are always set to 0, so you can't kind of fake it, say I have 1,000 likes when I add my project. So on my portfolio, I'm gonna say implemented Strappy with Node.js with custom backend controller code, again, to do something, right? But I'm just showing as an example, implement Strappy with Node.js with custom backend controller code. Then, you know, I could say used Node.js to create policies or something like that, which I did. I'm gonna show you another example, but I'm just saying that you could talk about your project that you're building and talk about what you did. And so what else do we have in our application on my personal project? What else we have here? So we have this ability to add comments, right? We also have this ability to get data, and I'm using GraphQL, so I could come back to my portfolio and under utilize graph. Hold on, let me go to this example. Let me go under here, implemented GraphQL, wrote custom GraphQL, and I can't type, guys, you're gonna have to apologize. Queries and mutations to get or set custom data. Again, I'm just using that example. Like, again, you will think through this, but notice I'm not writing like general stuff. I'm actually writing the things that I actually did in my application that make it sound like, and I'm talking about it like the same way. If this was my job, I'm talking about it the same way as this is my job. Because like I said, the only difference between your code that you write for your personal project and your job, but your job you get paid. By the way, this Dev Hunt application that we're building, let me go to Community One project again. This application that I'm building, I'm using the same technologies that I'm using at work. I'm using GraphQL, I'm using PostgreSQL as a database, which is actually something that I'm going to add to the resume example that I'm doing, and all this other stuff. Yeah, thanks, Tech Rally. Tech Rally, I love Tech Rally, but sometimes I feel like he comes to my live streams and then he sees what I do, and then he's like, you know, I'm going to do it better. No, anyway, by the way, if you haven't checked out Tech Rally's channel, go check out Tech Rally's channel. Me and him, really good friends, and we both like kind of competing with each other to provide the best possible content for you guys that we can. And the reason why I'm not afraid of competition, because ultimately my goal is to make the best possible content I can, and more importantly, to grow as a best developer that I can. And if you put out good content and people vibe with your vibe, I guess, people are gonna like you and people are gonna support your channel. So I'm not afraid to recommend Tech Rally or other people that I really like. Now, I'm not gonna ever recommend Krishan because I don't care for his channel, or that other whiny dude, what's his name? John Fluke, like Josh Fluke, because they're all a bunch of whiners, and we don't whine on this channel. We just get to it and do the work. And if you like Krishan because he changed your life, and you like Josh Fluke because he changed your life, that is awesome, because I'm pretty sure the same way I don't like some YouTubers, there are same people that don't like me either, or other people that don't like me either. And you know what? YouTube is so huge that you get to choose who to watch. You know what I mean? And that's why, to me, the most important part is not like how cool I am, or let me talk about my life. Like, I've never showed you my house. I've never showed you my car unless you saw that short video of that super like super expensive car that I have. That's a lie. I borrowed that car just so I could make that video talking about Python courses. But I don't need to show you my life. I don't need to tell you about, I just have to tell you I have a job and this is how I did it. And then more importantly, I just have to give you massive value and tips, not even tips, action steps, kind of like I'm showing you with this, how to write about your project in your resume, because we're going to give you some more tips today that are going to be like amazing, that will help you, because I know not just me used, but some of my followers used and got results. And the reason why I'm giving you all this information is because I want you to act on it and get your job, right? I want you to go out there. I don't need to impress you with my lifestyle or like drone footage or whatever. I just want to talk about the stuff that you could act on, and that's what you're doing. So I did mention that we use PostgreSQL. If you don't believe me, I could show you later, but I hooked up Strappy to use PostgreSQL, and so I could say implemented PostgreSQL, however you type it, database to handle data storage. And again, you would write this much nicer, but because I'm under pressure on this live stream, I'm just giving you examples. And by the way, what I'm saying here, just start, create this, right? And then you could go back and edit, you could rewrite it, you could do whatever. Implement the Postgres database to handle data storage, and whatever else you want to do. So let's find one more thing that we did on our project. So I'll go back and look how I actually did this stuff. I'm actually going to my code. I'm talking about things that I did. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not lying. So I did make a bunch of React components for UI, and I did also show you that set timeout feature. Let me show it to you guys again, because I'm goddamn so impressed here. So let's say I log in as myself here, coding after 30. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong one, in community project. I didn't push this new change to that project. I got to go to my local version. Where's my local version of the app? Okay, local host. So I implemented this fantastic thing. So if you're logged in, right, you type in your password, you logged in, and wrong password. It happens. I can't type fast. Test user, super secret password here. So this is a feature. So once you're logged in, you're doing stuff, and you're like, oh no, I have to go, my baby, I have to pick my baby from work. And then you go pick up your baby from work, because my baby works. You know what I mean? That's how I get my money. I put all my babies to work. They give me money. Oh no, I forgot to log out. Thank God my application has this timeout thing. So if I'm not at the office, it will automatically log me out, right? It would log me out. So all my secret data that I have on the school application is going to be perfect. So this is a feature that I made for my personal project. It's, by the way, it's this, and look, I'm logged out. It's the same feature that I also wrote for work, right? And again, so I would go to my portfolio, say implemented, or wrote, implemented, wrote, I'm going to say wrote, why not? Wrote logic to determine if user is idle. If so, log the user out, or some wrote logic to determine if user is idle. If so, log the user out. I mean, don't write it like this. Like, find a nicer way to talk about it. Again, I'm just showing you quick, dirty examples here to show you that no excuses. You could do this with personal project. Look, I'm already halfway done with my portfolio, not my portfolio, with my resume, that I don't even have a job yet, but it looks professional. Look, front-end developer dev hunt, my application that I'm building from October to now, because that's when I started in October. I'm still building it. You could see me build this application live on our Tuesday night live stream, 7 p.m. Central Time. But I look like to determine the user is idle. If so, log out. If so, show in UI modal, whatever. I'm just like, I'm not making stuff up because you just saw me test a feature. I'm just not going to spend time trying to figure out how to write this in a more natural way, because I don't want to waste time. But after you do this, you could like rewrite it, and that like wrote logic to determine the user's idle. So in UI display modal with countdown, and ask if the user would like to continue. Otherwise, again, this is too wordy. I would rewrite this in the much nicer way. Log the user out, right? Okay, so boom, done. We did it. Look at that. So next thing, you know, I go to my nelify, right? And I look at what other projects I have. So I have this project here that I'm going to show you. By the way, this is a project that we did on our Slack channel. If you want to challenge yourself, you could basically find any website that you like. Basically, I found this website, mock-up of this online, and then I recreated with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So now I could talk about this project. So what did I do this project? Basically, I had a Photoshop mock-up. You could use Figma, you could use whatever. So now I could talk about this project. So let's say I go to my resume here. I'm gonna copy and paste this, right? I go double tap, boom, double tap. If you know the reference, let me know. This is, you know, portfolio website template, whatever, design. So I wrote and created this template or whatever. You could call it whatever you want. I'm just calling it, again, I did it, let's say June of this year, and I was finished July of that year. So again, I'm writing about my personal project, but I'm writing about it in a way like it was my job, because I can't stress this enough with you guys. Your difference between the code that you're writing for your job, what is happening? No, I broke it. Let me do this. Like, I can't type under pressure. I'm gonna copy this whole thing because I don't know why the copy paster thing messing me up here. I don't have time to mess around with you guys. I want to show you examples. So let me delete this. So here's another project I did. If you guys still with me, I appreciate you guys so much, because I believe this is really, really valuable stuff that we're talking about. And then I'll show you some examples of other people that followed similar strategy that I did. And some of them got jobs, some of them in the process of getting jobs. And so, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. So this is my resume. I talked about my one project as my experience. Now I'm talking about my other project that's here. So this is what did I do? I had a mock-up in a Photoshop file, and I converted that mock-up into HTML. Yeah, Control Z, man. Always, all that stuff gets me in trouble. Command, like whatever, to undo. Yeah, listen, tell me about it. My fingers, they type bunch of random buttons. Hey team 9018, hey, great that you're able to make it. Obviously we said hello to Takrelli, all you guys, JR Bugs, great to see you here. And so we're talking about how do you talk about your personal project in your resume. I used my Dev Hunt example, and we wrote this here. So in my code, this is what I did. Wrote code to authenticate the user and get back JW token to allow authenticate user to have permission to make authorized requests. GraphQL with Apollo client with data authentication, blah, 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 blah. And now we're working our second entry for our portfolio. And here we go. So what I'm gonna do here now is talk about my other portfolio that I did, this one. So I had a mock-up, Photoshop file, it could be a Figma file. So I translated the mock-up to semantic HTML, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I'm gonna write. Oh my goodness, Control Z works. I just did it. Converted or went from mock-up to, and I don't know if that's how you would write it, but I'm just giving you examples, guys. Like, you guys are gonna have to think about how to write the features that you did and describe. I'm doing it live on stream. I'm doing it quick and dirty. Like, so I'm gonna have like grammatical mistakes, so that other stuff, obviously you should fix that before you present your resume, but I'm just showing you that don't waste time. You could do this right now. You could do this today. Get the template. I got this template, and I'm just entering information here. Went from mockup and worked off, I'm going to say whatever, wrote semantic HTML and CSS, and you could say like crazy stuff like responsive CSS based on a mockup file provided by web designer, whatever. That's kind of what I did. I had a mockup file, and by the way, I'll show you how you could find some of these mockup files if you want to practice doing something like this. What else did I do here? So I already said responsive CSS based. I'm just gonna remove this here because I'm gonna talk about specifically. So we have this page that I did, inspect. You know, it's responsive, right? It looks good on every screen. You know, obviously you could tell that to align some of the stuff, I probably use Flexbox or Grid. So in my resume here, I'm gonna write used modern layout practices with utilizing Flexbox. And notice how I'm using the technology names as keywords that automatic readers will pick up. Flexbox and CSS Grid, you know. Okay, boom. Then what else did I do on this project, my personal project? What else did I do here? So I have a form here. So let me reset the form here, which actually uses JavaScript to be able to make sure that when you try to submit, it asks for valid stuff. And not only does it ask for valid stuff, like notice that if I try to add numbers in a name, it says it's invalid. So I also used a regular expressions to check, does the name field have any numbers in it, to be like, hey, numbers are not allowed. You're only allowed to have the green stuff. So here, again, this is my personal project. So here I'm going to talk about wrote JavaScript code with regex to check if form inputs were valid before allowing form submission. Like, what else did we do on our personal project? Like, let's go back to our personal project here. You know, again, no excuses. I talked about the Dev Hunt project that I'm building live. You could see me talk about what I did. And again, this is the actual stuff I did. And now I'm talking about my other community project here. So let's pick one more thing here. So we talked about blah, 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 HTML, CSS. We talked about JavaScript. We talked about mobile. What else can we use here? So I'm just going to like, yep. We talked about, let me see. Oh, what am I going? Let me see what I wrote here. Did I talk about responsive? Yeah. Use my lane practice. And so I could say here also practice, because I make sure that it looks good on like mobile devices. So I said practice mobile first approach when designing initial layout to make sure that and again, you could word this much nicer. I'm just giving you quick and dirty examples that the website looks good on multiple devices. And let me just trusty spell check here. Like, sounds good. The mobile layout for websites, I guess, and devices. Mobile first. You don't like a mobile first approach. And so now from quick and dirty, look, I don't have, this is from the standpoint, I don't have a job, right? I don't have a job. I don't have any experience. So I just showed you how you could talk about your personal projects that you're building at home And like I said before, the difference between the projects that you're building at home is between the projects that you're building at work. The projects at work, you're getting paid, but you're still writing the same code. At least you're striving to write the same code. And there's a reason why for the DevHunt application, everything that I'm writing and sharing with you guys on stream, it's the same technology that I'm using at work, just to kind of show you that the code that you write at home, that you finish, the portfolio projects that you could put online for people to see. Like if you go to my DevHunt application, this project that I'm writing about, it's here. Here's the live demo. You could actually see it in action. You could check it out. You could actually go to the GitHub link and you could see the code that I wrote if you wanted to look at it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making stuff up, and you shouldn't make stuff up either. But at least now, look at before, and I'm going to stop here in terms of the resume, but now before my resume being empty, I don't have a job yet. I don't have any opportunity, right? And so before my resume did not exist. My resume did not exist. And now I have a resume. Yes, these are personal projects. And I don't say they're personal projects. I'm going to say it if they ask me. But I just said front-end developer, DevHunt. That's this not this application that I'm building. It's this application that I'm building, right? Then on my resume, I talked about front-end developer, portfolio website template design, where I build a HTML, CSS template for people's portfolio. You could name it whatever the heck you want. But here's the application. Here's the live and deployed website. So I'm not making this stuff up. So I could back up what I said on my resume with the stuff that I built. And this is exactly what I recommend for you guys to do when you don't have any experience. Now, there's a couple of other things that I recommend that I'm going to talk to you about in just a second. But there's three things that I want to talk about before that. And so this is now, look, not only did I have my information, I talk about the skills that I use, but now I have two items on my resume that I never had before. And this is not work experience. This is my personal project experience. But you should talk about your personal project experience as if they're your work experience, because you still write the same code. At the end of the day, you do the same thing. This is going to be a terrible example. Well, okay, I'm going to use a much politically correct example. Let's say I shoveled the snow outside because my job pays me money to shovel snow, and then I shovel the snow for free for my grandmother. I still shoveled snow, and it's still that experience. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. I was going to use the lady in the night example, but that's not politically correct, so I'm not going to talk about it. But basically, regardless if you get paid for a deliverable service, you still deliver that service. So as long as you're building your portfolio projects, you're building them to completion, you're delivering that service, you're delivering those projects. And so why not talk about them in your resume? So now I have a resume with two items. So if you build a third portfolio project, and I'm just going to pretend that I have a third portfolio project that I built, even though I don't have a job, don't have an experience yet. Look, you add that third project, you know, that I'm too lazy to write out, because if you missed what I did here, and look, I now have a one-page resume. Like, let's say I didn't have any of this other stuff here. Look, erased too much. Let me just put it. So now look, with span of like past few minutes, I showed you how to write this beautiful resume. And if you missed it, you could always rewatch this live stream. I showed you how to write this amazing resume, basically, for the most part, by using your personal projects that you built. Obviously, you have to have built them, and obviously they should be deployed, and people should be able to see them. And that's the reason why I'm building this project live on my stream, because I don't want to only showcase my projects. I want you guys, if you want to showcase your projects on this website, if you want me to add your projects to this website, just hit me up, email me at codingafter30@gmail.com with your portfolio, and I'll add it to the site where people could find your projects. They could see your basic information, leave comments on it. But that's why I'm building the site. By the way, if you want to see me make progress on this website and talk about how I do it, you could check out my Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central time. And I think I'm going to change the Saturday stream to 7 p.m. too, just because I feel like a lot more people are able to make it at 7. And it just makes it easier for me, because sometimes on Saturdays, stuff happens like today, and I couldn't make it home in time by 6. And so let me look at the comments. I missed saying hello to Luke. I love Luke. Luke, coding after 30. Number 1. Luke, great topic. Thank you, Luke, for joining us and stopping by. Sick template.
definitely use it for my next career opportunity. Fantastic. Good stuff from Scott. How's it going? The Bailey's code looks fantastic. Good evening, anyone. Vinny, Vinyl Guy, good to see you. So now we talked about how to write your resume. We talked about you have no excuses. So let me talk about 3 bare minimum things that everybody could have. Now you have resume. You could write your resume. You have no excuses. I showed you how, literally, we did this today. We did this. If you missed the first part of the stream, by the way, smash the like button if you haven't smashed the like button yet. But if I wish I had smashed the like button for you guys. I think they should, in front of your picture in the comments, I should have a like button where I could like you guys for being awesome supporters and adding so much value to this conversation. So I appreciate you, all of you guys. But today I showed you how anybody, and this is a template I bought. You don't have to buy a template. You can find a template. But if you buy a template, make sure you use this format. Basic contact information, skills, nice and clearly identified. And then you write about your personal project like I wrote here, like I showed you today, how to do that. So no excuse. So everybody, these are the 3 things. Hold on, let me first count those 3 things. And I was kind of forgot when I started, but yeah, now you guys have, I'll come back to this too. You have no excuse. I showed you guys how to create basically this resume and how to talk about your personal projects with no experience and how to set it up like this, how to write it like this. So if you missed it, you could always rewrite it. And when you create a resume, find a template, make sure a brief description, don't go too crazy, your contact information, please don't call me. But please know that I share with you my real information because I'm a real person. I went through all this. I'm just laughing at Luke's comment here. Joshua Fluke did turn into a negative whiner. And I'm itchy. Yes, for sure. Indeed, he did. And I can't stand that. I'm too old. I'm too old to like whine about my life. I just want to provide massive value, and through providing massive value that you guys could act on, that's how I'm going to grow my channel. That's how I'm going to grow my business. I want to start doing coaching. By the way, I started giving out free coaching just for me to experiment with my teaching style. I'm learning a lot of stuff. So if you want to hop on free teaching, I'm going to closer to the middle of the stream. I'm going to share my Calendly link. So if you want to jump on some free coaching with me, which is not going to last forever because I don't have forever time. I do have only 24 hours in a day. But for now, while I'm starting out, I definitely want to learn. And the best way to learn is to practice. And I want to invite some of you guys to take advantage of those free coaching sessions one-on-one via Zoom. But anyway, so I showed you how to create a portfolio. So coming back to the 3 things that you need to know to have. Number 1, you need to have a LinkedIn. It's actually going to be 4 things. Number 2, you need to have GitHub. Number 3, you have to have your portfolio site, which we're going to talk about in a second. I'm going to give you exactly steps you could take. Obviously, I can't show you how to do it on this live stream, but anybody could do it because I'll show you exactly what I did. And number 4, which we talked about today, a resume. Everybody, after today's stream, everybody should have a good looking resume based on what I talked to you guys today. People could charge so much money for this. I'm giving out for free because I'm sick and tired of people making excuses. I don't have a resume. I can't make a resume. I can't. Shut up. You can't. Just do what I just showed you. But people are going to think that I wrote my resume based on you have no experience. What are you going to talk about in your resume when you have no experience? You're going to talk about the projects that you built. I mean, common sense. And at least you have something. You could show up to like if you don't have a resume, it's going to be hard to find interviews. I don't know what to tell you guys. So no excuses. This is what you do. Copy it, use it. And if you come up with a better way, share it with me, of course. But this is the practice resume. I'm actually showing you my, this is the practice resume that we just did, right? Boom, 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 boom. We did it. But this is my real resume. Look, my real resume, look, with real experience, real job experience. And let me switch here. My real resume, this is it. This is my actual real resume. This is actual job experience. Look at how it looks. It looks no different than the resume that I just showed you how to build today. And if you missed it, definitely rewatch the beginning of the stream. A lot of gold nuggets here. Super fantastic. But I just showed you how to create this. Look, this is the resume we just created. We just created it today. Looks based. These are our personal projects that we're building. This was one of the projects that we talked about in our resume. This was the second project I talked about in my resume. And for brevity of the time, I just copied and pasted the third one. But I just showed you how to do this. I showed you that no excuse, everybody can have a resume. And notice how this resume that's talking about my personal projects is the same resume that actual real experience that I have. And that's what I'm saying, right? About your personal projects the same way you write about your real experience. And so when a recruiter jumps in, they can't tell the difference between this, which is based off my personal projects, and this, which is based off my real jobs. And you know, that really gives you more authenticity and more like bang for your buck. So anybody could do this. So if you tell me you don't have a resume, I'm gonna figuratively punch you guys in the neck, because you have no excuse after today's video. And if you think I'm making sense, smash the like button. If you don't think I'm making sense, smash the like button twice. And if you think that I'm making too much sense and then why you still didn't act on it, smash the like button 3 times. You know what I'm saying? But dude, you guys motivate me to share all the best value with you guys. Hologram nunchucks, what's up? Ooh, what kind of topics do you talk about your free coaching sessions? Well, it's interesting. Like right now I talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but ideally I realized to give a more structured approach. I think I'm going to break down, I'm going to have different sessions. One for people who are looking to build HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Second topic that I'm going to have is going to be how to go from JavaScript to write applications with React, or how to become React job ready. And then the third one would be whatever I think about it. But I think the first, like, I definitely got to figure out a structured approach rather than just trying to solve your issues, because the goal of the live stream, I realized, not to me like, you come in, I have this problem, I can't figure out how to do this, let me do it for you, and maybe I don't even know how to do it, you know what I mean? But like, because then you don't benefit from it. You just pay money for a solution. That's not what I want. I want to make sure that I teach you how to figure this stuff out on your own. And the way I decided, I'm going to have basically the personal coaching will involve everything that I talked on this channel, and it'll basically help you to build 3 projects: HTML, CSS with JavaScript, basic React application, and a complex React application to get you job ready. And I'm going to have structured approach where I teach you how to do that. But while you're doing this with me through the coaching, you're also going to have your own personal project where it's your job to do it yourself. And I'm going to help you with that as well. But that's going to be that idea to kind of go through. And Luke, I'm glad you're enjoying this live stream. This live stream is gold. I'm giving gold away for free because I'm sick and tired of people telling me, I don't have a resume. Like, after the stream, if you tell me you don't have a resume, I swear to God, I'm going to do something crazy, like super crazy, like go shirtless without, like, on the stream. And I'm Russian, you know what I'm saying? And go shirtless on the live stream Russian would be insane. I'd add number 5, which is to post about your projects and journey so compare and recruiters will know. Bro, we already have Bailey's code. We already talked about that. That's a good tip. And by the way, yes, I'm right on that. Like, I'm right on that. Like, if you go, like, that's step 5. I'm just talking about the first initial. Like, if I say all steps 5, like 1 through 5, people are going to be like, Jesus Christ, I can't do any of this stuff. But this is a blog post I wrote. Because if you don't have step 2, if you don't have LinkedIn, you know, you can't do this step 5. But basically, I wrote this amazing, it's not amazing article. I got to do this better. I write like an article a year, but I wrote this article and I shared it on my LinkedIn account. But let's kind of jump back. And I realized, am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, number 5, that's definitely there. That's there. You've read my mind and we already have it. I got to watch this from the beginning. 100% come back. This is going to be probably one of the more important streams that I did. And we still got 3 more golden nuggets, chunks of pieces that I'm going to show you. So let's first talk about the 4 things you need to have. And number 5 is exactly this. And I didn't want to bring it up, the Bailey's code, is because I don't want to give you too much stuff, because this you could do eventually. But if you don't have 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're not going to get to this part. So let's talk about number 1 through 4. Number 1, you should have a GitHub, but I mean, not in any order. But this is, like, I'm not going to do them in order just because this makes sense. So number 1, you should have a website where you use the template, and then you could eventually, as you build your portfolio projects, you could add them here. I got this template. I'm going to show you briefly, fast. how to get this set up super easy. So everybody should have this page. So again, based on what I'm going to tell you right now, if you tell me you don't have a personal portfolio site, again, neck punch, figuratively speaking, 100%. You have no excuse after today's video to have a resume, and you will have no excuse not to have this done. Okay, are you guys ready? Taking notes. Step 1. And by the way, before I show you this, let me just say, I have stuff open. Let me go back here. Okay, step 1. This is Katya. She followed me along from very beginning. She listened to what I've been doing. And by the way, she did all the massive work. She now works as a front-end engineer. I kind of removed her email so you guys don't stalk her. But here's her portfolio website based on kind of what I did. Here's looks like a similar project, right here. You click, more details. So it'll take you to the details page. Notice how she's talked about her project the same way she would talk about on her resume, exactly kind of how I showed you in this video. If you go to project URL, and notice how this looks very similar to how my project works, because this was the challenge. I gave them a mockup and I said, use and recreate this mockup first with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then go ahead and recreate that mockup with React. But the point is, she followed my advice. She has her portfolio site, she has her LinkedIn, and she has her Git profile, and she has her resume. Those are the 4 things you need. Your personal portfolio website, which I'm going to show you step by step how to get. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but you could figure that out on your own. But she has her portfolio website. She has her GitHub. She has, where's my fingers? She has her portfolio site. She has her GitHub. She has her LinkedIn, and she has her resume. So no excuses after the stream. So here's my portfolio. I hope you saw hers. I hope you see mine. Guess what? We got it from the same place. If you go to Google, and you type Bootstrap made, you will get free templates. I paid for mine because I don't want the watermark. But look, this is the template I used. And here, one of these templates she used. I forgot which one it is, but she literally got her template from here. And she customized it with her thing. So step 1, you go to Bootstrap templates. You find the template you'd like. Like, here's the template that I used. Boom. I just put my information in there. Look at that. Super easy. Not brain science, so no excuses. Look, free download. Look, for free, you get the template. You could use the limited times for yourself. And the only thing you get is you get the... You don't get the... You basically get a watermark, and you don't get the PHP code to do your form. By the way, if you're going to do Netlify, you don't even need this code. So for $0 free download, look, I just download. No strings attached. I just download this file. I have it. Boom. So step 1 is done. Step 2, you go to Namecheap or any of those equivalent things, and you buy your name, myname.com domain name, right? You buy your name. Boom, whatever it is. Obviously this is taken or not. You buy a domain name for yourself. So like if you wanted to find my website, right, you could go paulbraslavsky.com. Boom, makes it simple. So step 2, you buy a domain name. Number 3, the file that you downloaded from Bootstrap made, the file that you downloaded from Bootstrap made, you save it to your GitHub, right? You have it saved on your GitHub. So I think I have it saved somewhere here. Paul, show more. One of these is basically a repo in my thing, right? Just trust me on this. I have a lot of stuff. It's one of these is that. Once you save it to your GitHub, you go to Netlify, you go to login, you logged in, and I'm going to show you that I already used Netlify. Netlify is free, so no excuses for any of this stuff. So you go to my sites, and here's my portfolio on Netlify, right? Look, it's hosted, and under Netlify, right, site settings, what I did once you deployed it, I basically went to site details, domain management, and I said use a domain name, and I added my domain name to point to the site. Very easy. And I'll show you kind of like Paul Wasowski. Look, let's say, so easy. You just say new site from Git. You logged in as Git. It authorized you, and then you find whatever repository where you uploaded this template. I'm just saying, when it search, let's say it's this one, and then you just say deployed site. Boom, you're done. Boom, and now now you have this fantastic template that you bought and deployed. So 4 steps: get a template from Bootstrap Made, save it to GitHub, and deploy it via Netlify. Like, that's it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'll help you guys out how to do it. And if you're wondering how to get in touch with me, you could follow me on Discord. Let me share our Discord link. Or you could, how do I share Discord? I don't even know. Invite people. So I'll put that in, copy the link. I'll put it in here. I'll put it here. So if you want to join us on Discord. Now, if you're still online here, for the time being, I got literally next 10 days now because I'm getting swamped with like requests. And by the way, if you signed up to my free coaching before, you know it's awesome. By the way, the reason that I'm doing it free is because I want to not just practice teaching, but I want to get feedback from you guys on some of the things that I can do, you know, to help become a better teacher. So far, I've been getting very positive results. Everybody's telling me I'm the greatest teacher they've had, which is hilarious to me because half the time I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you want to schedule a live, I'm going to show you my Calendly live session. And again, oh my God, I already have 7 appointments. Jesus effing Christ. So guys, like, I'm pretty sure that like for the next 10 days, I'm going to leave this open, but I know the time slots I'm going to fill up real crazy. So I'm going to share this link. And if you guys want to set up one-on-one, right now it's free, absolutely free, no strings attached, because I want to make sure that I iron out my teaching approach before I start charging people money. So far, I've been getting really good feedback. So go on. It's literally not that many spots left. I'm not even saying that to say it. I'm just saying I already have 7 scheduled, and I don't even know how many time slots are left. So go ahead, go there, check it out. Everybody who took my stuff with me has been saying really, really nice things about it. So I'm not just saying it to toot my own horn, because I don't want to toot anybody's horn, especially mine, because that's messed up. We always add humor to this live stream because otherwise it'd be boring as hell. So no excuses. We talked about you need a resume. You need a resume. I showed you how to write this resume today, basically based with no experience, just talking about your projects. Number 2, no excuses. You should have a template website. Notice I specifically did not put a portfolio. Oh, Paul, you have a resume on your personal. Yeah, I showed you how to do this today. No excuses. We don't have any portfolios on this site because, like, don't wait to get a portfolio. Just get the site going. Next thing you need to have is a LinkedIn. Literally follow me on LinkedIn and look at how I structured my LinkedIn. Get some ideas. If you don't have a LinkedIn site, I don't know what to tell you. You need a LinkedIn. And then the last thing you need to have is GitHub. And I'm flying through this because I talked a lot about it, and I just look at this. When people go to your GitHub, they just want to see that you're active. They want to see that you're showing love and you're doing it. These are the 4 most essential things that you need. Number 5, like, let me find that comment. Like Bailey's code said, and this is number 5. Add number 5, which is to post about your projects and journey to companies and recruiters will know. Yeah, and on LinkedIn, that's exactly what I do. If you could go to my Coding After 30, the only reason I didn't include this until Bailey's Code called me out on it is because, oh, by the way, you could also go to Coding After 30, click this website, and you could go ahead here and schedule like appointments that we have, and that's a good way to do it. Let me go back to Coding After 30 website. So here it is. I'm writing about kind of what I'm working on. I wrote a blog post on what I did, and then I took this blog post and shared to LinkedIn, and this will be number 5. But if you don't have 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I'm going to quickly review, then number 5 is irrelevant to you guys. So quick review. Number 1, most importantly, no excuses. If you have some personal projects that you build, even from tutorials, you could write a resume that looks no different. This is the resume that I just showed you how to do today with like at the beginning of the stream. So if you missed it, definitely check it out. And look how this resume, based on my personal projects, no experience, looks exactly like my professional resume. This is my professional resume of all the actual jobs that I have. Notice how I'm talking about my personal projects the same way. So no excuse, you guys could do that. Today I showed you how to, number 2, set up a personal website like I have here. No excuses. I showed you how to do this. Go to Bootstrap Made or any equivalent place like that, download a free template. Then you take that free template and you basically push it to GitHub, make your changes, and then you use Netlify to deploy it for free. Beautiful, done, no excuses. Number 3, again, no excuses for number 3. You need to have a LinkedIn. Number 3, everybody needs LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn, what are you doing? Like, go, like, leave the stream now and set up your LinkedIn account. And then the final thing, what everybody should have is you guys should have your GitHub, which will, people not gonna code, like, check every goddamn square you have here and check the code that you wrote. They just want to see you have history. They want to see you have history. Are you committed to coding, or are you just talking about coding, right? Don't be like me in 2017, being a complete lunatic and not doing any work. Not doing any work in 2016, 2015, 2014. I did nothing except sit and suck my thumb like a dumb idiot. Don't waste time. Get GitHub going. 2018, started taking seriously. 19, 2020, 2021. I'm killing it. You guys, no excuses. So those are the 4 things you guys need to have before we get into some questions. Number 1, no excuses resume. Neck chop if you guys don't have a resume, because I showed you how to do it. No excuses. You should have your portfolio side neck chopped, you guys, figuratively speaking, of course. If you don't have a portfolio side, no excuses. I showed you how to do it. Number 3, LinkedIn and GitHub, and 4, GitHub to set that up and commit code to it. No excuses. If you don't have those 4 basic things that I talked about, resume, LinkedIn, GitHub, website, I can't take you serious in your commitment to wanting to become a developer. I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously. If you don't have that and you start doing it, okay, I'm taking you seriously. But get it done. Get it done, because those are the tools that you're going to use to market yourself to potential recruiters, employers, to show that you are a developer, that you're doing the things that you want to get hired for. I can't stress that enough. So no excuses for that stuff. Smash the like button if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, I don't know what to tell you. Smash the like button twice, I guess. And if it does make sense, again, and you're like, Jesus Christ, neck chops exe. I should have a button which will basically do that. Next chops exe button. Like, I just want to shake you guys if you don't get that stuff done, because this is your livelihood. This is your job. So I just showed you. If you watch this live stream from the beginning about the 4 things that I talk about, literally I showed you how to do the resume, and then literally I walked you through the basic steps. Like the way we did that resume today, like, you have no excuse. Like, if someone tells me I don't have a resume, I will tell you to watch the stream. And if you don't have a resume, I'll be like, what are you doing? Playing with kittens all day? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? So no excuse on the resume, no excuse on a portfolio site, no excuse on GitHub, no excuse on LinkedIn. And I showed you Katya, she has all these 4 things, and she was able to get a job because she had stuff to show to potential recruiters and stuff like that. So 100%. So now let's kind of slow down a little bit. I have a lot of stuff that I could talk about, but let me give you a chance. If you guys have questions or want to talk about it, I'm like all itchy, like, must be the cocaine. No, I'm just this excited and hyped because I love helping you guys. It's not the cocaine. I don't do drugs. Swear to God on my cat's life. And I love my cat, so I would never lie to you guys about that. So yeah, so bam, bam, bam. Have you ever, so some questions before we continue. have you ever used DigitalOcean to deploy any projects? Unfortunately, I have not yet because I have not had any need. Currently, I use nelify or I use Heroku. And what's interesting, for my purposes, it serves my needs. But I know a lot of people that use DigitalOcean. They say a lot of good things. And so I will have to, for the next project, after I finish my Tuesday night dev hunt project, I'll probably build a Next.js application. Well, actually, Next.js application will deploy reversal. But after that, whatever application I'll do, I'll make sure to use DigitalOcean so I could know what I'm talking about. But honestly, I heard a lot of good things about it. So it really depends what's your use case and what you need it for. Tech Rally thinks he's better. Like, you say tomato, I say tomato. And he says he's joking. Don't joke around, bro. You're good. You're good. Listen, Tech Rally, the reason why I hold you at high regard because you're legit competition for me. I mean, not really, you're not competition, but I'm just saying, you do good stuff. I love your stream. I love your channel. So if you guys haven't checked out Tech Rally, check out Tech Rally. Alex, enjoying the stream, having fun. You're so awesome, man. Thank you for the amazing, bro. Ben, 88 I can't pronounce half the names. No, you guys are awesome. Like, the reason why you think I'm awesome, because you guys are awesome and you just make me so excited to share my story, because I love how positive this community is and how much love you guys give that I can't complain. And so I just want to be positive and put my best foot forward. And you know what? Somebody was talking about like this idea on LinkedIn. They were saying, you know, there's so much negativity that, you know, that people are always putting others down. People are not, you know, bringing other people up, you know, and they're just so negative. How can you accomplish anything by being so negative? I just don't get it. So Kevin, that I need to get on my show, because even though he's not a developer, he did switch careers late in life, and I think talked about this idea that how people are afraid to try something new, switch careers. But anyway, besides that, he had a post, like, let's see if I could find the post, like what like a post which he said, which I want to show you guys because this is very important. And I'm sure I'm going to have haters. I'm sure I'm going to, like, people gonna not like me, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't want to be liked by everybody, but this is what he said. This is what he said. I'll show you my response to that comment. And this is why I'm so positive, because I feel like positivity will be more productive. It will bring you more value. And again, I only focus on the value that I could bring to you guys. That's it. And the way I'm gonna, people ask me, well, how are you gonna make money? How do you gonna, if I bring you massive value and you become successful, believe me, eventually, through my teaching, through my courses, through your support, if you wanted to, I will get the benefit. But if you do something good for somebody else, you will get something back as well. So I'm not worried about getting the good stuff, because if I do good for you, good will come my way eventually. So let me show you this comment. So Kevin wrote, making negative content is easy. Saying something is bad is easy. Instead, encourage someone to say something nice, compliment something. Instead of trying to tear people down, build them up. And this was my response. I said, this is so true and so undervalued. In my past life, I was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor where I also taught children. It was through motivation, positive reinforcement, and constructive feedback that I watched them grow. I think that as adults, somehow we are different is ridiculous. We're not different. We still like people say nice things and treat us as human beings. If I say you're stupid, it doesn't really help anyone. Yeah, if I talk negative to you, if I tell you you can't do this or you can't do, if I say you bunch of losers, that's not helpful mentality for anybody. And I said, yeah, but internet makes it easy to talk smack. But really, from all the important things you guys could be doing, you have time to shitpost on the internet. What the hell's wrong with you guys? Take that time, be productive. And by the way, this is why I love you guys in this community, because you guys are positive. You understand that life is short, and instead of wasting your goddamn time, you're willing to do the required work to get stuff done. And sure, I have negative people that hate me. People talk smack to me all the time. And I gotta share like this awesome comment I had. It was hilarious. I'll talk to you about it in a second. I won't say who did it, but it was hilarious. Like through positivity, through teamwork, through supporting each other, we're all going to grow. And that's why I decided to be positive. And people think, Paul, you're so nice. I could be a dick if I want to. I just know that me being a dick doesn't help anybody. And when I say dick, I mean like dick like Rick or like Robert or Charles, not like dick like as dick, right? Versal is really good. Yes, for Next.js for sure. Hologram nunchucks, enjoying, LOL. By the way, guys, I want to hear from you guys. So there's 18 of you guys, like 18 people here on the stream. If you haven't smashed the like button, don't smash it for me. Smash it for all the awesome people that are still on the comments and leaving these amazing comments. Ask questions. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. I think like if you missed the beginning of the live stream, by the way, rewatch it 100%. By the way, everybody comment who's been here from the start and let me know if the first part of the stream up to this point was 100% legit stuff that you guys need to know, because this was probably the most important stream that I've done, and I just gave you massive value for just because I felt like giving it to you. So, but I could talk forever. And before coming on and talking about, because I'm actually going to talk about this strategy that I've been using to help me learn how to build stuff, because it's very easy to get stuck in tutorial purgatory. So I'm going to show you the strategy that I've been lately using and coming back to with vigor and strength, because I think it's the best way for you guys as well and developers to not to commit to large project, even though everybody should have a cornerstone project, but to continue practicing this idea, building stuff from scratch. And if you get stuck, you have tools that provide the answer, or at least part of the answer, to help you guys learn how to do it the right way. And I'm going to show that to you guys in a little bit. But first, I want to have you guys talk about and ask some comments. Say hello in the comments. Let me know what you guys are doing. Don't be shy. But I am going to show you stuff. But first, let me, I just want to talk to you guys. First, I want to talk, but I am going to show you the tip on how to go and utilize this super awesome trick on being able to continue to practice building stuff from scratch, and how to continue to grow as at least a front-end developer. And I'm sure there's an equivalent practice you guys could do for backend, but we're going to talk about that as you get there. And how do you recall the things that you have learned from Deepak? Well, the first thing I'm going to say, the things that I'm able to recall no problem are the things that I do on a daily basis. So the more you practice something, or the more you work with certain technology, the better you'll be able to record it and recall it. But the good news is, the more you do something, the things you will forget and can't remember, you will know that you can't remember. And because you know what you can't remember, you'll be able to look it up. You're going to be able to look it up through Google or what have you. So the stuff that I don't remember, that I forgot, at least I remember that I forgot something, and I know where to find it online. But usually the best way to practice recollection, and I'm about to talk about how I practice this, and if you didn't watch my last video that I put on my YouTube channel, if you go to, by the way, if you want to actually know how I study, guys, if you guys haven't seen this video, I'm not going to make you guys watch it online. But if you go to my channel, Coding After 30, you're learning to code wrong.
Introducing
This video, best learning strategies for programmers. If you watch that video, it's going to outline one of the best ways to learn to program. It's exactly what I do and been doing recently, and it's been helping me to remember and recall the information I'm learning, because what I started to do, instead of focusing on more passive approach for learning, I make sure that I follow an active approach for learning. And let me just quickly look at these comments, and then I'll give you a tip. Tech Rally still here because you're the best team supporter ever. I love you, Tech Rally. And also you're getting all the secrets here. By the way, Tech Rally, I watch your streams too, so I could get all the secrets and all the stuff. So Alex asks, I'd like to know how you would build the retractable heading from your portfolio with CSS. Retractable heading, you mean the What do you mean, like the top navigation bar that hides when you scroll? Is that what you're talking about? Say yes. By the way, if it's the retractable, like top navigation that hides and shows, like, I'm not sure exactly what you mean about that. Let me see. Netlify. Let me go here. Brain sites. Let's see here. Let me go here. So you talked about like that, how it disappears and then retracts. Like, is that what you talk about? Then I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Alex. I'd like to know if you build the retractable, the text that goes away. So you mean hold on a second. PaulMerslavsky.com. This. So to be honest with you, if this is, hold on. Yeah, so this is actually done with JavaScript. So I don't know how to do it purely with CSS. And by the way, somebody already has this tutorial, and I used Brad Travesty's tutorial. So if you do scrollable type text, Brad Travesty, just Google that. He'll show you how he wrote it. But this is not pure CSS. This is accomplished with JavaScript. So for this particular website, obviously I didn't write the code. But for my other site that I have, I'll actually show you here. I'll show you here. Just give me a moment. Give me a second. I will help you. Sites, you go, I believe it's this one, per HTML CSS. It's kind of lying that this is pure HTML CSS because this is actually JavaScript here. So this HTML and CSS, it's the same way as in the other portfolio. So what we're going to do, we're going to click here. We're going to click site settings. We're going to click site details. Is it site details? Deployment, build and deploy. Yeah, we're going to go to the repository here. We're going to go to dist folder. We have this JS file, typewriter.js. So this is built based on the tutorial that Brad Travesty showed how to do it. Now, knowing what I know now, like if we used class to create all their logic, I probably would have just wrote a function to accomplish the same thing. But basically, we are handling all that with JavaScript. And then, so you could actually go to this GitHub and see the code, but I'm going to give credit where it's due. So if you go to YouTube and just search Brad Travesty typewriter, whatever, however you spell it, Brad Travesty typewriter effect. So just
the best way to become a full-time developer
by following coding after 30. Don't even be showing ads on my own goddamn channel. But pure JavaScript typewriter effect. And so you could watch this video by Brad Travesty and he'll show you how he did it. So it's not pure CSS, it's obviously using JavaScript. And I'm not sure if you can make it with pure CSS. Maybe you can, but I don't know how to do that. So with that being said, that's where the credit goes. This is where I learned initially. And if I were to do it again, I would write it as just a function and not bother creating a whole separate class for it. But it's still good. And so go there and check it out. And again, I just want to give credit where it's due. Yep, and you could use JS when scroll 100%, and that's kind of what I did in my example where the bar hides automatically, but Alex was referring to the TypeScript stuff. And so now let me talk about, since you guys, and by the way, if you have questions, ask questions. I'd love to hear from you guys, but let me talk about this one thing that I started to do more of and been doing lately a lot, because my whole belief here is that for you guys to be able to Oh, you're welcome, Alex. Um, the For you guys to be able to continue to grow, especially as front-end developers, you need to build stuff from scratch. And a lot of times you could build stuff from a mockup, but the issue from the mockup from Figma, you might not have all the information in terms of how they structure the HTML, what kind of CSS they use, because that stuff is not done yet. It's your responsibility to do it. So even though I suggest that if you want to practice, or how do you know if you're job ready, you should be able to take a simple mock-up in Figma and recreate that HTML and CSS from scratch. If you can't do it, the strategy that I'm about to show you is what I've been doing to help me to learn how to build stuff. And so I'm going to show you some examples. So if you guys are ready for this, let's do this. This is, again, so much value today, but I provide value every day. You know what I mean? That's how we do it here, because what's the point being on YouTube if you're not providing massive value to your viewerships here? And I did start this live stream at 7 today Central Time. I think I'm going to change it to 7 because I feel like it's a better time for majority of the people. Obviously, I can't keep everybody happy, but I think that's what we're going to do. So here's the thing. I share screen share here. So this is what I started doing. Number one is go to theme forest, right? It doesn't matter what it is. And then let's say I want to see e-commerce and look for WordPress, or you could look HTML. I'm just going to use WordPress. It doesn't matter if it's WordPress or not. And so I'm just going to randomly pick something. It's not random because I'm looking for something. I just want to find something that looks good. But one thing that I actually do, by the way, when I go here, I try to find something that has like the best rating with a lot of users, because that means like, so I'll do best rated, because this means that it's a pretty good template that somebody built that's getting a great rating with a lot of users. And then I would pick that template. So that's step one, find a template. Again, let's find an e-commerce store, whatever. It doesn't. And then now what you're able to do with Theme Forest, you're able to go to preview the item. And it'll show a couple of different layouts. These are pretty complex. I'll just use this one. So now what you have is you have a website that somebody made. This is a pretty significant e-commerce website. And so now what you should be able to do, be like, you know what? I wonder, how did they build this card? Like they have the heart here. You know, you could like, they have the sales logo here. They have the image. They have the basic information. Let me make this bigger. Right? How did they build their card? And so now what I want you guys to do, find a website that you like, and then systematically pick one element from that website. And I'll show you an example that I've been working on, because I kind of like Keystone.js. It's really simple. I really like how they did this card. I like how they did this. And what I started to do is like, see if you could recreate these components from scratch. And so let me go to my work here. And here's my code. And I'm using React style components. But this is a component that I recreated, the submit button. I recreated this card. I recreated this list item. And what's cool about it, you know, because it's a component, it's also functional in a sense that I'm getting that data dynamically. Like north-south's 5 here. I could add additional data here. It doesn't matter if you see it or not, test. And then once this reloads, because it's a React component, it will dynamically generate this second, like the last item. And so what I'm saying is, find a site that you like. And so what I'm doing is like, I'm going to go down the slide. I recreated the button because I liked it. I'm going to recreate the search menu because I think it's cool how they did it. I recreated this card. I recreated this component in CodePen. And basically you start building it from scratch. And when you get stuck, this is why this approach is awesome. When you're trying to build it from scratch and you get stuck, you have the inspector. I'm building this with React, so inspector is not going to show me all the answers, but I'm able to click. I'm like, well, how did they do it? I could see, oh, they used after. I could look at the code. Well, how did they write it? And now I could look at the code and learn based on what they did on this website, try it out, test out like different, attributes they added, why they did. And by the way, if you get somewhere here, like I know what all of these are. I wonder if there's an example of something that like I'm not familiar with. Let's see here. Well, let's say I'm not familiar with what is, let me just find an example, but most of these I'm familiar, but let's say I was not familiar, what does position mean? So you could go into Google, you know, let's say I didn't know what position is, and type position CSS, right? And then I would see a bunch of like articles that kind of talk about position. I could learn more about it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that means. You could do static, relative, fixed, absolute, or sticky. I wonder what each one of these does. And then you go back and in your code, you apply it and you write it. And so what I want to challenge you, and this is a great way to do it, is to find a website that you like, number one. Find one website, whatever it is, and then in CodePen or in your code editor, recreate those components yourself. Recreate that stuff, because this will teach you how to build stuff. And what's cool about it, like I'll show you another example, like you don't have to build a lot of stuff. Like yeah, last night I couldn't sleep and I was like, ooh, I wonder like some cool like section components that I could practice. So I found a website which had this section component, which had like this interesting background done with SVG. They had these like floating things here. Let me zoom out a little bit. That's zooming in. Like zoom out. Let me bring this closer. Whatever. And so I created this component for About Us. Maybe I should zoom. God damn it, zoom in the wrong section. So I created, that's fine. You guys can't see it. So I recreated this section. I learned how to add an SVG background and why you would do it. I created these SVG, like this is actually not with SVG. This is with just CSS. I created these components like my boxes. See, I created my box function here. And what's cool about this box, you could pass whatever boxes you want, and through adding the positioning top or left, kind of not attributes, what do you call them? God damn it, React has props, right? You pass these props and it will change the positioning dynamically. Like if I change this for, let's say left will be 0, 0, 0, and it's relative to the image, right? It will change where this green, I believe it's the green box or the red box. Yeah, it changes where that red box is relative to. So through props, I could basically position where I want those elements to be. And so I build this myself. And so what did I learn? I learned some new stuff, how to use SVGs for background, but I also practiced building stuff from a file on my own by myself. You know what I mean? And so this is what I'm getting at. This is very important for you guys to practice building stuff yourself and understanding when you're working as a web developer, you're going to get paid for the fact that you're able to deliver and build stuff. So let me like look at the comments, say hello to everybody. We have Vinyl Guy, not to get off topic, but I'm learning Vanilla.js and I can't write an if and else statement from memory. But when it comes to writing an application from scratch without a tutorial, I'm stuck in the water, and that's perfectly normal. And so what I recommend, by the way, is this approach that I just showed you. And this is React, but let me go to another example here. Follow the same example, like just, and what's cool about look, I don't just make up stuff. Like I show you the stuff that I'm doing. So let me find another example for you guys. And this will kind of help shed some light on your. And this is a very simple example, right? Let me show it here. And like I have a better example, but this example is like not that bad, but it's also not the best one. So I don't want to show you, like sometimes it's good to show not my best examples, because I want to show you that I also have good code, I have bad code, regardless. We all start somewhere. But here's a I wanted to know how to make a slider which changes through the information. And by the way, like what I did is I kind of made the HTML container for what I want, and this content is dynamically generated. By the way, you don't have to understand the code, but what I'm saying, notice how I have JavaScript here, and it's literally 84 lines, so I don't have to build a whole application. I just build one little item that you like. And this is actually not as, like, I should have showed you the example I wanted to show from the get-go because it's actually simpler. But I create the HTML, CSS, and I add the functionality for these buttons with JavaScript. And so it's not a full application, but it's a contained application in which you can work. And hey, Anna, hey, awesome to see you. Glad you were able to make these live streams. I hope you have fun. Good to see you here. And let me come back to this. And so this is probably like a crazy example. Let me go like, and basically like if you look at my code, I don't try to build a full application. I try to build small little elements and test them out. Let me show you like another, this is like a stupid example, right? But this effect, like how would you make it with JavaScript? And since you talk about like, you know, and so look, I just created this simple function. It's just literally this function of 22 lines of code that handles this functionality. So when I reload here, it will count to whatever number I set up. So very simple JavaScript functionality. And again, so you don't have to build a full application. Start building these smaller components. And this is like an irrelevant computation because I don't know when I would ever use that. So let me show you one more example of something that's relevant where you could talk about using and writing that JavaScript. So here's a card that I made, and I wrote JavaScript here to basically cover a couple of functionality here. And so basically when you click on this, it changes if the heart is filled, and if you click on it again, it'll change it to unfilled. And it's two different icons. So I wrote JavaScript code that not only styles the color of the icon, but it actually changes the icon to a different icon. So we have this filled icon, which is all white, and then we have this outline icon. And so I wrote that JavaScript for this card. So what I'm saying is you don't have to build a full app, build these little components. And what's cool, I now know how to make a card with a liked heart and how to basically be able to write this functionality. And then when I have a bigger application that happens to have a card, and one example being of this community project that we're building, look, this has many of these cards. This is a more full-fledged application. But how do you think I figured out how to have this functionality? By building it alone as a simple standalone throwaway project that I saved on my code pen. So I hope that helps. And so we keep rolling. Yeah, never settle, bro. Tech Rally, like I'm always striving to be the best that I can. I'm probably the most competitive person that I know, but the most person that like most competitive with is myself. And always getting better, 100%. Like, but I'm 41 years old. I cannot not get better. How am I supposed to stay employed by not getting better? So, guys, like, keep asking questions, because remember, I'm here like not because, you know, I just like to talk. I want to answer your questions. So if you guys have questions about anything you guys doing, by the way, if you missed the first part of the stream, because we're literally in, let me look at the time here. We've been streaming almost for an hour and 40 minutes. So at the beginning of the stream, I showed you how to write a resume based on your personal project. So if you have no experience, you'll be able to write a resume. And I'm going to show you the resume we wrote today. So if you missed the stream, you could at least, like, let me just show you kind of what we talked about before. And you guys get some questions ready. Throw some questions in the chat. And if you guys didn't smash the like button, I don't know what you guys are doing. But smash it, not for me, but for everybody else in the stream, all the awesome people that are part of this community that have joined. So I hope I saved the thing that we did. Let me go to Google Drive, Google Docs, because I want to share what we talked about. So like after like today's stream, like nobody's gonna have any excuses for creating a portfolio. So I'm gonna show you what we did today. And nope, that's not the one. Let me find that. This is the one. Nope, that's not the one. Not the one. This is the one. No, this is not the one. Did I not save it? It'll be pretty stupid if I didn't save it. Let me check here. Let me look. Okay, here it is. So look at this resume. It looks fantastic. This resume looks like $1,000 resume right here. Look at this. We have my name. We have the tech that I used. We have like all this other stuff. And then I wrote the stuff that I did. Front-end developer, dev hunt, this front-end developer portfolio website. And then I just copy and paste this. We actually did this resume live on the stream today. And look at it. And this is based off my projects that I built for my personal use. These are my personal projects. Like I mentioned before, what's the difference between the personal projects that you write versus the projects that you do at the job? It's the same code, except that your work you get paid, right? And I used an example. I could shovel snow at my job because I'm a snow cleaner guy, or I could shovel snow for my grandma. I still shoveled snow. I still did the work. So why not count that experience? And so that's exactly what we did. And if you look at my professional, this is actually a resume based on my actual jobs and actual experience I had. This looks no different. So this is a resume that's just based off my project experience. So I didn't have a job. I don't have that. But look, for a recruiter, for someone looking to hire me, this looks as professional as hell as my actual experience. So what I'm saying, actually build the projects. The projects that I talked about, you could actually see them in my portfolio. They're legitimate projects that I have, but talk about them as if they were your job experience. And now you have this professional looking resume. So if you watch the first part of the stream, you have no excuse not to have a resume that looks like this. The other three things that I talked about and showed you, you should set up a resume. I call this my business card website. Look, you have your website. You have your resume, you have basic information. Everybody could set this up. I showed you how to do it at the beginning of the stream. So if you were to rewatch any of my streams, this would be the content. Somebody disliked the stream. It's amazing. There's always going to be one hater. It must be because all the awesome things I talked about, they probably don't have, and that's why they disliked it. But honestly, this is the stuff that helped me to get hired. I'm giving you so much massive value. It's up to you to decide if you want to act on it or not. So we talked about you should have a resume. We talked about you should have your portfolio website. And the last two things, especially if you're in development, you need to have a LinkedIn, right? You got to have a LinkedIn. This is where you're going to be doing a lot of your networking to get that job you're looking for. And then you also need to have a GitHub, especially if you're a developer. You need to have a GitHub, and you got to make sure that you're active on GitHub. There's no tricks or secrets. 100%, you need to be active in the community. You have to be in the work. In order to get hired, this is what needs to happen. And so what else we talked about? We talked about one of the ways, especially for web development, how you could find whatever website you want. You could use the inspector tool to see the code behind, and you could build those components separately in a website like CodePen, like I show you, to get more practice. So you could practice building little components. So what's cool, like you build a card, maybe next week you build a navigation, maybe next week you build a section, or maybe you build something else, and before you know it, you build all the components that are required to build a complete website project. And then now you put all those things together, and now you have that project. And if you're struggling to learn to code, go to my channel, check out my last video. I think it's called You're Learning Coding Wrong, or You're Doing It Wrong, or You're Learning to Code Wrong. I forgot what it's called. Actually, let me go to my YouTube. Again, I'm not saying this to promote my channel, but it's something that legitimately helped me to make sure that I am actually making progress, and I am doing what I'm supposed to do. And so if you go to my latest videos and you check out this one, You're Learning to Code Wrong, I outline my strategy that I use for learning to code that's helping me not only to be able to build stuff from scratch, but also to practice being able to recall that information. And at the end of the day, if you follow that process that I outlined in that video, it's going to make it easier for you guys to talk about what you've built before in your project, in your interviews. So that's was very important. So for the last part, let me look at the stuff. Let's see here. And then let's see what Vinyl Guy says. Those are great examples. Thank you for your suggestion. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad I'm able to help somehow. Thank you, Paul, for your last video. The best learning strategies for programmers helped me a lot. Yeah, I think that was one of my better videos that I made. And then let's see over here. I just connected to a recruiter on LinkedIn last night, and she asked me if I had any experience. When I say no, she was very kind and told me to keep up the good work, but she got off right away. Yeah, so next time, if you, let's say, had a resume like I showed you in this video, right? And she says, do you have any experience? I'm like, yeah, here's my resume. This is the stuff that I built. And send her the resume and show it to her. Don't even say that was your personal projects. If she asks you, she'll be like, oh, is this like working for a company, or is this like blah, blah, blah? And you could say, these were templates that I built that I was going to sell on ThemeForest, right? Because you could easily sell them on ThemeForest. Or you could say, these are personal, don't even say personal project. Just say, this is a project I was building and this is what it does. And the point is, if you build a project that serves a functionality and it's deployed, and it doesn't have lorem ipsum, like if I go to community one project, again, this is work in progress, by the way. If you talk about, like I talked about in my resume today, we wrote our own resume based on personal projects. Just don't call it personal projects. I just keep referring to personal project because it's that's what you guys notice. But look, I built community1project.com. It's an actual site. It's deployed. It has users. It's going to have users. So it's a functional application. It doesn't have lorem ipsum. It's not like people that could log in. It could be anybody that could log in, right? I have other users here. I don't remember if Aria is a user here. No, she's not. I forgot what, I forgot what her user password is. So let me log in again, but as myself, coding after 30, because I actually remember my password. And if you guys want to be less like listed on site, this site's still in development, but I'm using it as an example. If you build a site and you deployed it and you put a bunch of users on it and people could go to it and it has actual .com associated to it, you could say, I created a website, deployed to the web. I have this many users and this is what it does. And that's it. You don't have to say it's your personal project. It's experience, it's deployed. Talk about your personal projects and deploy them as if it was a project you did for a job. And then on that resume, like that we wrote today, I literally wrote this resume, guys. If you missed it, I wrote this resume live today on the stream, and I showed you how to talk about your personal project, but don't say personal project. I'm just using it because it's familiar here. I talked about this application. I showed you guys the code that I wrote. I showed you that I did the work, and I showed you how to talk about it in your resume. And notice how this resume, based off my personal projects, no experience. So don't say you have no experience. Now you have this resume. Now you have this experience of the projects that you built. And notice how it looks no different than my actual resume. So that's important to kind of constantly work on selling yourself. And recruiters are tricky because recruiters, they want to make easy money. Like, I'm not saying they're bad and I'm not saying they're good. There are bad recruiters, there are good recruiters, but the truth is they want to make money, and the easiest way for them to make their money is to find someone a job who already had a job. So I talked to many recruiters, and one of my recruiters is a friend of mine, and she said the first thing I look to see if the person whose portfolio or whose LinkedIn I'm looking at already has a job. And if they already have a job, I'm going to reach out to that person first, because they're the easiest person to find another job because they're already working. And then some recruiters will look at someone who doesn't have a job, but if they have a resume with good experience. So now I guess I'm kind of beating around the bush here, but when you connect with a recruiter, Vinyl Guy, make this resume based on your personal projects. And if you don't have personal projects, obviously you have to build personal projects and refer to them as actual things that you built. Write in your resume like I wrote it here, and talk about it as your actual real experience. And if you want to go the extra mile on your LinkedIn, you could create, and this is what I did for my first ever, me and my friend, we created this. Here's my LinkedIn. This was my first actual professional experience. We created this freelance company, not because we were actually looking to make money as freelancers, but what I did is we created this company, and what I started doing is finding mock-up templates and then creating HTML, CSS, and React applications, or I should say JSX and React applications. And even though we never got to sell any of those templates we made, I still used it on my experience. And this company, you know, you could just list it on LinkedIn, and you're doing the work, and you could say you were working for a freelancing company creating React templates to sell, right? Doesn't matter if you sold and you're not, right? It doesn't matter, but you count it as your experience. And as long as you're doing the work, it's fine. And it's very easy to list yourself as a freelancer on LinkedIn. So this is my freelancing company. Now that I have a job, I don't do any work for it, but I did show you how to set this up, or I'm showing you here. You could set this up on LinkedIn, and you could have a company website. I threw a basic company website because my original Get That Client website, after I started doing like work at my current job, I deleted it. But I still wanted to show you that it's easy to set up something that's that you're doing freelancing, and you could use that to build your initial experience. I don't remember where the link here is, but you could just go to Get That Client. And I just set this up as an example right now. I see a professional looking website. This is what we do. We do static website, WordPress site, and custom web apps. And I didn't add all this stuff. I just want, because I don't need to do this stuff right now, because I don't need to build my experience. I don't need to build a job. But this is another avenue you could go and do. Obviously, if you're going to do this way, finish it up. Make sure you provide legitimate about section. Make sure the services that you write here, if you were to get a customer, you would actually work on to deliver those services. But the good news, every portfolio that you build, even though you might not sell that service, you might have a bunch of template sites that you build. You could say, I worked for Get That Client as a front-end developer, and I build templates to sell to small businesses, because you don't need to be a successful startup or company, but that counts as your experience. And at least with that being said, when people go to your LinkedIn, and I created this fake linked account, well, it doesn't have to be fake. Let me go to LinkedIn here, like just to kind of show you. That's exactly what I did for my first job. I got to go to my portfolio. That's what I did exactly for my own job. I used that freelance path, even though I didn't make any money. I actually lost money, but it doesn't matter. And we had this company that I worked for, and it's on my resume, on my real resume. My first experience was working for my first dev experience, working as a junior web developer at where am I at? Working as a junior web developer at Fluid Logic Design, and that experience landed me my next job at Greenwich Point Marketing, doing stuff like that. And so it's not that hard to create a site, and you could say doing business as, so you don't even have to set up an LLC, but it's just a way for you guys to build your experience on your own. And I'm not saying you have to do all these strategies. I'm just talking about them because these are some of the strategies I used. And to kind of showcase that this is not that hard to do, I created a fake account, not fake from the standpoint that I'm going to lie on it. Like all the stuff you do, you got to be able to back it up, and you have to do here. But I created Coding After 30 LinkedIn account, and look at this. Coding After 30, not a real person, but he's a software engineer at Get That Client. That's what it says here. And if people kind of come down to my job section, and recruiters won't even go this far, right? Like they're going, hold on, let me go to my portfolio. My profile. Recruiters will come here and they'll say if he's working, and they might not even click to see where you're working, right? But that's going to give you a lot of brownie points. But if they wanted to click here, they could click here. They see software engineer Get the Client, they could follow. I set this up. I set up my own business as a LinkedIn business, doing business as, and when they click that link, they go to the site. Make sure you finish this. I just did it briefly to show you as an example. That's a thing that you could do. So there's many ways of building experience, but before you even do this, if you watch the beginning of the stream, the 4 steps that I outlined at the beginning of the stream, those are the 4 bare minimum steps that you need to take to make staff stuff happen. And hey, NCH, good to see you. And yeah, you just got to get your foot in the door. So man, you guys been amazing. Like, I love all of you guys. I want to say, by the way, thank you all of you guys who stuck around, even if you only stuck around for a few minutes or you just joined us. By the way, if you just joined us and you missed this stream, if you're going to rewatch any of my content, watch the first hour of the stream, because we're closer to the tail end of our stream today. And let's do like the last 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes of questions. If you guys don't have questions, please ask questions, because this is what I'm here for, to help you guys out. But if you missed the beginning of the stream, 100%, if there's a stream to rewatch, this is the stream to rewatch. I showed you so much value. This could have been a course in itself, but because I just wanted to share this with you guys, because I know you guys are so awesome. All of you guys, by the way, if you guys were not such an awesome community, I would not exist. You guys motivate me to continue to do the best that I can to create a lot of and bring a lot of value. By the way, guys, I'm doing something super crazy. I am giving away free one-on-ones. Well, it's not free. It's free for you, but you're giving me your time to jump on at me and help me to practice teaching. You know, we could go over HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We could talk about React, but the basics of web development. What I'm doing is eventually I'm going to offer classes, and obviously you don't have to pay for my paid classes if you don't want to. I'm still going to provide a lot of amazing value on my YouTube, but I do want to start to teach, because I talked to a bunch of people, and people that did take me on this offer and took some of my free lessons. They're like, Paul, you're a great teacher, and it would be stupid for you to waste that talent. So, and John Smilga himself from Coding Addict said, Paul, what are you doing? You should be a teacher, teaching online, and then eventually you should do courses. So I'm doing one-on-ones, and I am giving away free one-on-ones. I'm going to throw my Calendly link. So go ahead and schedule. Like, literally, I already have 8 scheduled, and they're kind of like selling out quickly, because obviously they're free. And people that did take them with me had very positive responses. So if you want to get free one-on-ones with me for like next, like, I'm probably going to close this offer in the next like 10 days or so, maybe 5 days, because like my schedule's filling up, because I do work, like, and I still have 24 hours in a day. But I found like this is a great way for me to test out my teaching strategy, figure out my curriculum that I want to kind of present to you guys on the one-on-ones. So it's free to you. You get a lot of value from it. And at the same time, I get your feedback to like be like, hey, when you were teaching this, it was good, or maybe you should do more of this. So if you want to do this, go to that link that I just shared. It's not going to last forever, because like I said, like, not like for you, it's free. For me, like, it's my time. And you know how I view my time. It's very important to me. And so the reason why I'm doing it for free, number one, I want to give back to the community. And number two, I want to get your feedback on my coaching. So take advantage of that. That's all I'm going to say. And let's see if there's any other items. So going, looking at the stream here, looking at the comments. So no comments. Yeah, Jerbox, 100% rewatch this. Like, rewatch it on 2-speed. But by the end, you'll know how we came up with this resume. And obviously you could buy a template like this. You could find your own template. But the most important part that we talked about is how to make this section and how to talk about your personal project. We also covered a lot of other stuff. But notice how this resume that we did today looks same as my professional resume. And for recruiters, this looks really good. And they're going to not at least initially question you. They'll be like, oh, this guy definitely knows what they're doing. His resume is solid. He's talking about the stuff that he or she did. So very important part. So guys, I love you. I want to say thank you for all of you guys who joined. What a pleasure to be part of your community. If you were new to this live stream and this is your first time, if you haven't subbed to the channel, you can, or you don't have to. I want to say thank you for giving me your time on this Saturday. I'm going to do this stream every Saturday. I'm going to change the time to 7 p.m. Central Time because it's just a better time. And sometimes on Saturdays I do get held up like I did today. And it was really hard for me to make it to the 6 o'clock time. 7 always works, always easy for me to do. And so that's what we did today. And since we don't have any questions, I want to thank you guys, all the beautiful people that joined today. I hope that you accomplish everything that you set to accomplish in the coming week. I hope and send a lot of positive energy your way. Anytime you guys have any questions about anything, always feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And take advantage of that free link that I sent to you guys, 100% free to do one-on-one with me on Zoom, which is, you know, people charge $40, $50, $60, $80 for that. I'm just giving you my time because I appreciate your feedback. Not only am I going to be helping you, you guys helping me by giving me your feedback. And if you want to know how to build actual projects from scratch, I do a live coding session Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, where we're building our community project. I call it Dev Hunt. You could see it by going to Community One. I'm going to show you where it is. You just type community1project.com. If you want to, I'll share it here with you. If you want to see the project that we're building, here it is. And by the way, it's not so much like detailed thing. Let me share my screen. This is the project review. It's not so much like how to do a specific thing. We do look at code. We do get to ask questions, but it's more about how to go on building a bigger application. How did we get to this point? So it will teach you and help you kind of think about where to start, how to start, and it's all about code. And so you guys will be able to ask me questions specific to code or specifically how did I think about it. And a lot of times what happens here, I break stuff and I've run into errors, so you get to see me do some live debugging and fixing. And you know, I talk specifically about this project on a Tuesday night stream, 7 p.m. Central Time. But with that being said, guys, lots of love. And again, if you jumped in at the last second because we're about to call it a day, definitely rewatch the stream. This was the most important stream that I made, especially if you're looking to write a resume with no experience. I don't think you're gonna lose any brownie points if you have nelify versal at the end of your URLs versus your first name or last name. But what I would suggest, it does look more professional if it's just your name.com. And like, you could buy a domain name with your name for like $12, but even $12 sometimes is a lot. So like, you guys have to decide, but you will always present yourself more professionally for your portfolio projects. And that's why for this one, I have a .com, like for my paulbraslavsky.com, any project that so I wouldn't say brownie points, but I think it just looks more legitimate if you have whatever your url.com is, 100%. But I totally get it. Sometimes like spending money on domain names adds up and you just have to make that call. So anyway, with that being said, guys, I am going to go. And before I go, I just want to say so much thank you for all of you guys who made it. I love you so much. You're the best. You motivate me to continue to put my best foot forward and to give as much as I can to you guys. And with that being said, I am going to go. And what's the best way to end is with a serious look. I can't do serious face right now because I'm so happy because you guys are so awesome. I'm just going to take a nap on the live stream to get more view times. So with that being said, I wonder like if I just sleep like this and new people showing up, that's probably gonna be terrible. People are gonna dislike it right away. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys so much. Love you all. I'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And I'll see you guys next time on this amazing channel because of you amazing people. So goodbye, everybody. Turning you off the screen. I always have a hard time leaving because I just want to talk to you all night. I want to talk to you guys all night because guys, I appreciate everything you do. Thank you all. I just want to, I can't, like, I need a button to like you guys, like to give you likes. You should be able to give likes to your subscribers. I'd like all of you be like, click, 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 click. My hand will get so tired from showing a lot of likes to you guys. Man, you're the best community ever. I couldn't ask for anything more. So like, I could just give you compliments. You guys like so beautiful people, amazing people, hardworking people, big hearts. I know you guys have big hearts because what else would you watch this dude, random dude on YouTube? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I could talk forever, so I'm going to stop. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.